Well, my answer is kind of different. So I've had 3 pregnancies. The first one was a 40-week full-term stillbirth. My son's name was Maverick Blue. And then I had a miscarriage at 8 weeks. And then I am currently now 20 weeks pregnant with my son, Mecca Blue. I had lost Maverick in October 22. And then I called our boss, Monty, and I said, I want to come back. Like, I need to come back. And he was like, are you sure? Like, I'm not pressuring you. You've just went through a lot. Like, you don't have to come back. And I said, no, I need to come back because I need a distraction. I need to get out of my house. So you guys have been on the road like you guys are ready to be with your children and be home because you're on the road. I, in the house, was like, if I have to look at this space where the crib was one more day and just keep watching basketball games on TV, I'm going to lose my mind. So I just was working out. For me, coming back, it's already lonely. Like, I feel like we've already talked about being a female in this profession is a little bit lonely sometimes because you have a very small experience that you can share with other women. Then on top of that, I come back as a mom who experienced an infant loss. So now I'm in another subgroup where no one shares that experience with me. So the isolation is just cringeworthy. So coming back for me was a blessing. It was a distraction. It was something that was normal. It was for 2 hours just playing. I wasn't thinking about any parts of losing Maverick. The only time I thought about me being a mom who lost an infant was if the referees, who they didn't know how it affected me, but they would be like, do you want to deliver the game ball? And lo and behold, it's always a little boy walking out with his mom or like a little kid. And I'm imagining my son being there at the games, so that was the only part of coming back to work as a mother who experienced infant loss where I was like, this is not fun. But coming back for me was a part of my grief journey, and it actually really helped me because it was a much needed distraction.
And I'm sure at that time you didn't realize that would be a trigger, like a little boy.
No,
right.
Yeah. What will people think? Like, does she look the same? Is she running the same? She was injured before. Is she going to be the same as she was before? So there's all these just things, but I kind of said, I don't care. The voices in my head, I was like, I don't care. This really is not about proving to other people that I'm still here. It's like, I got me, and I went through something, and it was kind of to show me, it was a test to me, like, you know what, like, get up and ref this game. And so just my whole mentality going into the first game was, first of all, nobody cares. That got me through actually all of the games. Nobody out here cares. The coaches don't care. The players don't care what you've been through. So you can't feel sorry for yourself out here. Work, just work. And so that, once the jump ball went up, it kind of just was like riding a bike. Everything just felt normal. So the game was not difficult at all. It was everything leading up to the game that was very stressful. The self-critique was very stressful, but I always put a picture of my mom and dad out before the game. I have a picture of my mom and dad on my bench, and then I had a picture of my son when I delivered him, and then I had this necklace, which is his ashes, and I had that just right there. And that was just like, I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this for just, you are the only 3 people right here that matter. So that was the first thing. I would recommend for moms who experience infant loss to not expect people to know how to react to you, and to tell people what you need from them, and to tell them what you don't want to hear, things you don't want to hear, or just how you want people to treat you. Because from my experience, even my best friend, my mom, that was the first time she had no idea how to help me. And I, as the one that lost the child, the one that should be grieving the most, is sitting down in front of her like, this is what I need. And I had to learn that through grief, like therapy. Mm-hmm. So it sucks, and you can't sugarcoat it, and it will always hurt, but like you're still here and God's got a plan for you.
What do you need from us this year as you're experiencing your third pregnancy, and so you're holding both grief and hope together? And yeah, what do you need from us? And you may not know yet, but
yeah, I don't know yet, but like, don't be afraid, don't avoid any conversation. Like, if you want to ask just any questions you have to ask, or if you just want to, I don't know, I just feel like people are very timid. They don't want to like say the wrong thing. They don't want to trigger. But a woman that experienced losing her baby is always going to be triggered. So just like know that everything is like, it was a hurtful situation. Like I could say I'm good, I am good, but it was a painful situation. But you can talk about it. And I want you to talk about it. And I want you to talk about this baby I'm expecting too. Like, because it's all just part of this beautiful thing, like life. And so I love for you guys not to avoid any conversations, be uncomfortable with me, because I think that's how people grow and that's how people connect. I am very joyful and grateful that I was able to have some more fertility left in me to actually conceive, seriously, because a lot of women have problems conceiving and troubles conceiving, and there's just so many other blessings. The blessings outweigh the dark moments. So there's just so many blessings with me conceiving again and being 20 weeks pregnant that I'm overwhelmed with joy, but at the same time, I'm fearful. Because the last time there were no red flags, not a single red flag. And this time it's like, if there were no red flags the first time, what's to say I'm safe this time? So I am so happy, but I'm fearful every day, and there's not a safe day. There's not a day I feel comfortable that this baby is going to come out healthy. So it's like just this mix. But the headspace, like, it's all over the place.
A year before I got hired in the MBA, so I was like going through the hiring process. So it was the hardest time of my life, probably balancing that and trying to get this job. It was difficult with a newborn. So.
When I gave birth to my son, which was November 2021, so it wasn't in the like deep throes of COVID, but it was still like on the cusp of COVID, where people were still pretty nervous about it and everything. So the biggest thing for me when I decided to come back, and kind of a little bit went with what Simone said when she came back, was I was so fearful that people were going to look at me and be like, she's a mom, she's like lost it. Like whatever it is that makes you a good referee or not, whatever. Like I was so worried that people were going to be like, well, she's a mom, she had a baby, and now she's trash or whatever. And like that'll play some psychological like warfare on your mind. So I think coming to terms with, like you were saying, just knowing that you're enough, and you know, having our bodies go through what they do, giving birth and being a mother, and coming back and doing the job, whether it's to other people's standards or not, whether we're good enough or not, or whether that makes us lose the it factor or not. I think coming back and having my son and knowing that this is my job that I'm passionate about and that I love kind of superseded all of that. So
my experience after my daughter was born, I took like a little time off because then like the G League / NBA season was starting, and for some reason, like I was really a little bit more concerned about being a good parent because I never did it before, and I feel like I got this basketball thing. Like I was real comfortable in that. So my daughter came on the road for the first year. She was in 14 states her first year of being born, because we got a little map and we put stars on each state she went to. But then COVID hit, she couldn't come anymore. But with that, like you have to, first of all, if you're under 2, the kids fly free. That is a big deal. But you also have to have the benefit of having somebody to travel with you. So that was pretty good when she was a newborn, because she was kind of easy, she just slept. But then when she got older, it wasn't really easy to take her when she's 3 and she's just trashing the hotel room, running all over the place. Like, that's a lot harder to do. And then you have to also have somebody to bring her. So now it's kind of few and far between that she can come on the road. But like if I have a home game, she's there, and I don't know if I'm supposed to or not, but every mandatory timeout, I'm waving to my baby. But I'm sure someone saw it would be looked down upon, but hi, every single time. So, yeah.
Does she like the mascots? Is she a...
Oh my God.
Because I feel like,
Yeah.
with Marley, right? They hung out.
So not too long after she went through her experience, I had a game in Cleveland, which was where Simone lives. And I live in Detroit, so I can just drive to Cleveland. So it's like damn near a home game for me. So I brought my daughter, I got my mom, I got my dad there. So I'm bringing like the family. And it was like mascot night. There was mascots from like every team, and they all came over and said hi to the girls, and we got pictures, and it was so cute.
It was great because Marley's my bonus daughter. She just turned 7 in June. She could care less about basketball, which is hilarious because me and her dad are like die-hard basketball like fanatics, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with basketball. So I brought her to the game like she is not going to care about any of this. But those mascots came, and she had her little friend, and I mean, just dancing, and I was like, okay, you know, whatever makes you happy.
So that was really cute experience that we had with the kids.
For some reason, I just think about how hard it was to breastfeed. Like, I honestly, when I was thinking about coming back, I think that stands out for me because it was so much about like motherhood being so much harder than I could have even anticipated, and wonderful and joyful, and so much harder, and so like just physically. And I was older, like I'm an older mom, so I was 38 when I had my daughter, so maybe some energy stuff there, but like I was just thinking about how hard, I mean, really that first year for me was just really, really hard. Like around breastfeeding, no sleep, COVID kicking in that first year of her life.
You know, when I was at vet camp, there was this little refrigerator in one of the arenas. And I was like, oh, I was like, that for the waters? And he was like, no, we got a memo saying we needed one of these fridges for the breast milk. So I was like, oh, that's probably Lauren's fridge.
Oh my gosh, it's so one of the things, the league, like, it was incredible. Like, they were like, okay, what do you need? And as a first-time mom, you're like, just like when you go, what do you need from us? You go, I don't actually know yet what I need. But I was like, okay, fridges in every locker room because for breast milk, like to be able to pump. I was like trying to cover every single thing that I could think of. And I had a C-section, an emergency C-section, so 2 major surgeries, and I was like, how is my body gonna work? I just didn't know how my body was gonna work. So that, and then like running on pretty much no sleep. So I mean, sounds kind of bleak, but that was like, that's my first year back, is what I recall coming back.
Take one of those breastfeeding courses while you were pregnant?
No, because
that made it look so easy.
No, because I thought it would be easy,
easy.
and I was like, I don't need to take this course. How hard is it? And like, thankfully, we did the parenting of a newborn course. Thank God we did that. But I didn't. But even when I got home from the hospital, they did a follow-up call like a few days later to be like, hey, how is it? We're checking in. I think it's just standard procedure. Like, how is it going? How's the breastfeeding going? And I told them that I was having trouble, and they were like, well, you can come out on Tuesday or Thursday to the hospital, and we have these like free lactation classes. Mm-hmm. You guys, I was so tired. I could not even think about loading a newborn into a car and driving to a hospital 15 minutes away to go to these classes. And I was like, thanks. And I mean, I didn't do it because I just didn't have the energy for it.
My follow-up call was, hey, how's breastfeeding going? And I was like, I'm sorry to let you know, but there is no baby. And I want to be like, I don't know if it's in your notes, but baby's not here. But like her face was just like, and I was like, and I felt bad for her. She was like, how's breastfeeding?
You're like, please add this to your notes. I don't
like,
want this call again.
I need them to add that to your notes because I felt so bad for her. She was such a sweet girl.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should absolutely boost your self-confidence and self-worth and self-efficacy, because that is like, you can't tell me I can't do anything at this point. That's how I feel.
I just felt like I wanted to like lie and roar when you said that, literally, like, because that just really, I know that's
Run
so funny.
through a wall.
I do, because what you're saying is just like really, really resonates. I think it's so easy, like culturally, socially, to think what softens you as a mom, but I think what you're pointing to is also so
It sharpens you.
true. What sharpens you, what strengthens you, you know? I think like what comes to mind for me, two things. One is that like I have my purpose in a way. Like before it was like, I love my job. There is something really rewarding and gratifying about pushing, like continuing to push limits, and like just seeing how good at something you can become, like how skilled at something you can become, and then we're opening doors for more people. That's really gratifying. But there is something like just right to the heart when you're like, now my purpose of working is really for my family also, and what it is to like provide for them. And the second thing that comes to mind is like a really practical skill, I think. So my daughter's 4, Rex is 5, right? So I don't know if she's still in this stage, but like, you know, their little prefrontal cortexes are still developing, and they have very little emotional control. It's like anything is just gonna set them off. And don't even let them be tired, because then it's like 1,000, like times a billion. But like, really sitting alongside a kid who is just losing their shit and you don't know how to fix it, and what it means, like I can feel even my anxiety jump up talking about, but like what it means to co-regulate and like regulate yourself so that then your kid can co-regulate off you and like borrow your emotional calm. I think there is something in that translates also to our work, because we have lots of crisis moments that happen through what people would consider crisis moments, of players, coaches, whatever. And if you like the ability to like find that still and that co-regulation, I think brings calm. And I think you're doing that all the time as a mom.
I feel like we're looked at like we're not human. Like we have no emotions. We're just out there.
As referees.
Robots. Yeah, we're just like AI robots out there doing a job. No, we're humans, you know, we're actually people. And I think that when you humanize yourself a little bit with the players and the coaches, it kind of brings everyone down a little bit. And I've found over the last year, players who noticed that I was gone for 6 months, or players who I have a better professional demeanor with, I can say to them like, oh, I had my son, or they just had a kid, and then when we see each other, we'll be like, oh, how's your daughter doing? And they'll say, how's your son doing? Or if my son comes with me on the road, like, and we'll see them warming up as we come in, like they'll be like, oh, this is my son. Like, it kind of makes you human, like, because we are humans, you know, and it kind of breaks down a little bit of those barriers of that we're the big bad guy. Well, we're not. We're just out there trying to do our job, and at the same time, we're mothers.
Already being here as a female, it's like you're a tough one. Like you have it. You have it. And then the motherhood aspect, whether going through the process of it or having babies, I think it adds an extra level of toughness. And it's like, not only am I doing the super tough job, but I'm also a mom. So don't look at it as a disadvantage. It is absolutely an advantage. It is absolutely another armor, like a coat of armor that you have. And for me personally, I felt like there was nothing in this game. There's nothing a player can say. There's nothing in this game that is going to break me because of the added motherhood aspect. Although my experience was different, like I still gave birth to a child. He was just sleeping. Like I still experienced loving a person for 9 months. Like that's motherhood too. And I just feel like the toughness, like we're already tough because we're here. Without, like, if we didn't have kids, we're here, we're tough. But then like you're a mom too. Like what can't you do?
Mm.
I just want my daughter to believe that she can be anything she wants in this world and do anything she wants by seeing what I do in my job, and there's obviously not a lot of females, and her other mother is in a male-dominated field in Major League Baseball, so she does have quite a bit of sports figures, but beyond that, I want her to think that she can do anything she wants in this world. So.
I want my son to grow up being a fighter, not a physical fighter, but just a fighter. Because I do want to teach him from an early age that life is not, life is hard, but you can be resilient and fight and get what you want and be happy and find joy and just be a fighter, not a quitter.
I think for my daughter, what I hope for her is that she pushes the limits that bring her joy and like a sense of like fullness to her life, and that when she does that, she always finds a sense of belonging, like as she's doing it, and that doesn't come from how other people are treating her or what's going on around her, but just that sense inside her that because she is choosing it, she belongs to be there.
My son's name means caring. So what I would want for him to be is kind. We're so privileged and we're so blessed with the lifestyle we can afford them. And nowadays in the world that we live in, everything is taken for such granted. And I would just want him to be raised to be a young man who's just kind and caring and appreciative of the amazing opportunities that we are affording them by the job that we get to do.